And we are going to talk about a scenario, a use case that let's assume you have a ElastiCache Redis cluster in the account B here, and you have another AWS account which we can mention as account A, which is this. And there's a scenario that you want to access the ElastiCache for Redis through the private subnet, not going through the internet, and you can create a VPC endpoint service. So, but the problem is currently when you're creating the NLB for the VPC endpoint services, there's no any option that you can use any managed services as targets, such as ElastiCache, Elasticsearch, Redis, so on. So there's an option we can use. When you create the NLB, we can use the ElastiCache private IP addresses. So there's a demo. I will be showing in detail how we can get the IP address, how we're setting up everything each and out. So just I'm going to explain the infrastructure. It's very simple and basic. So you have like 2 AWS accounts, and make sure there are some key points you have to be focused on. That the region should be same, and the availability zone IDs as well. So when you go to that documentation, so they mentioned that in AWS that here, so this part that the availability zone ID should be the same when you creating the VPC endpoint services and endpoints. So if I'll put this link as well in the video, so you can, if any doubts, you can check that. So basically, let's go and see the demo that how we are going to access and what are the AWS services we are going to use in the demo. Let's go and see how the demo works. So I have 2 accounts. So as I mentioned before, so account A and account B. So basically what I want to do is like from this account to access the ElastiCache Redis cluster, which is in here using VPC endpoint services. So let's go to the VPC. And another tab, I'm going to open the Redis ElastiCache. Okay, I created a cluster before because it takes time to create initiate the cluster. So you can see here the security group and the VPC, and I have like 3 nodes I created in the North Virginia US East 1, and my availability zone is A. Let's go to the endpoint services. Okay, let's create the endpoint service. So ElastiCache service. I'm going to use a network load balance for this. So let's create a NLB. Okay, ElastiCache. I'm going to create an internal one. So main purpose of using this endpoint service to secure our network. And let's create a, yes, this is my app subnet, which is a private subnet. And the Redis port 6379. Okay, so we have to create a target group. So here, the target group supports like several options as targets, for example, instances, IP addresses, Lambda functions, and now recently they have enabled the application load balancer. This is a really cool feature. So basically you can, let's assume you have an application which is using application load balancer. So directly you can point as ALB here, but here still you don't have any option like managed services for like ElastiCache, Elasticsearch. For such services we can use as a target here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use IP address instead of that for these ElastiCache, the Redis service. So it's ElastiCache. So 9. So health check, I'm going to keep it as it is, the traffic port, because I'm going to use the same port because it's the port here in using by the Redis 6379. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to create the load balancer. Sorry. I'm going to create the target group first. Next. Okay, so you want to know what are the IP address of this ElastiCache using, right? So basically what you can do is in EC2 console, in network section you can see network interface, right? So when you create a resource in AWS in a VPC, so basically what will happen, it will create this network interface with the private IP address you can see here, and this private IP address, it's like burned to that resources that never going to change unless you're going to terminate it. It's going to be stay same, so it's never going to change any time unless you're going to terminate this. For example, if you want to terminate this ElastiCache instance, I'm going to create a new one, then yes, it will change. So until that, it won't change. So what we can do is we can copy these IPs and add as our target groups. Okay, so it's pending. So I'm creating the target group. Okay, let's go back to the load balancer. It's there, and everything seems okay. This is still provisioning. So once it's created, the NLB should appear here. So I'm going to pause the video for a while. So we'll resume this once the NLB is created. I already clicked it because there's only one NLB because this is a testing demo account. Once this is recorded, I will be deleting this entire account. Yeah. Then we have this acceptance required option. It's really nice because you can make sure that there's a manual process to accept these things for audit purposes and security purposes. And this one also really nice, associate a private DNS name with the service. So basically you can make sure that you can have a private DNS name, and then the DNS name will be have to pre-approve using a TXT record. So make sure the owners, the real owners of that domain only can access this service. So this is really a good option that AWS is providing currently. For this demo, I'm not going to use it. So just make sure that there's option like this, and I'm going to create it. Okay, now you can see the endpoint services is available. So this is the domain verification name and status which I was explaining before. So here we are not going to use it, but yes, there's option, you can obviously use that. So currently we don't have any yellow principles. This is where I was mentioning that acceptance and the extra security principles are there. So what I'm going to do is, this is my account B. I'm going to take the account A IP address and I'm going to whitelist here. So let's see. Okay, I already copied. Nice. So it's already added from here, and you can see currently there are no any endpoint services. So let's go and create the endpoint from the account A. So for that, we are going to search through the service name. So make sure you copy the service name here. Let's go to the VPC. This is my account A. So I'm going to the endpoints. So there are no endpoints. I'm going to create one now. So there's option here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use find service by name. So when I paste this, yes, it found it. So here I told you right before, I created the service endpoint, like endpoint services. They were the NLBs, everything under this AZ1. So that's why the others available zones are not available for this. It's saying that service not support in this availability zone. So you make sure you create in the correct availability zone when you create in the services. So that's a key point you have to make sure to remind. So I'm going to create under this one, this availability zone and this subnet. And let's go down. So before I created before recording this, I did a kind of a test run. So I created the security group earlier. So I'm going to give this Redis access. I will go through the security groups later. I will show that what are the allowed rules and stuff. And I'm going to add a tag, the name. Yep, Redis access VPC. This is the one I was testing before. Okay, so let's create the endpoint. Okay. See, now the manual acceptance is pending. So we have to go to the other account and we should accept this account here. Okay, it's pending now. So what we can do is we click accept endpoint. So as a good practice, what we can do is we can do a peer review, like you are the one who creating this setup, and you can ask another engineer to do a peer review and make a CR, change request, and that engineer can go and manually verify and check if everything's okay. You better to do that when you're doing manual work like this, or else like as we all talk about this IACs, yes, the infrastructure is code, so we can automate these things as well. So it's still pending. I'm going to pause from here and let's continue once its state is available. It's already available, and let's go to the account A, and yes, it's available as well here. So our endpoint is ready. So here you can see the service name and the DNS name. So this is for the entire the region, the VPC. So this one is for each subnets. So if you have created the subnet services, if you created the VPC endpoint services and the endpoint for multiple subnets, you will see for each subnet each URL here. And let's go to the EC2 console, because I created a test EC2 instance to check the connectivity. And let's assume this is inside a private subnet. I didn't bother to create a jump post and create a EC2 instance in a private subnet. The purpose of the demo, just want to make sure the the idea of how to create the VPC endpoint services for Redis cluster, right? So let's assume this is inside a private subnet. And security, you can see I'm just enable my enable the port 22 for the public. By the time when if you try to access this IP, the service will be destroyed, because after the demo I'll be cleaning the account. Yeah. So let's SSH to this one, and let's copy the DNS URL. And okay, I forgot to show you the security group of the Redis access which I created. So this is the security group. There are multiple security groups which I created for demos. So Redis access, the inbound is basically from this is the security group of my which I created for the access my testing EC2 instance. So basically whatever the instances using the security group basically have the access to connect to this port, which is Redis 6379. So I'm not gonna do any changes, cancelling it. Then let's go to the EC2 instance. I already SSH here, and I'm going to try the telnet command. So this is the VPC endpoint URL which I copied. So it's 6379. Oops, sorry, that's a typo. You can see it's connected. So basically what I've done is using the VPC endpoint services and the service, created endpoint services inside the account B. Using the NLB, I'm accessing the ElastiCache Redis clusters and creating endpoint here, and this endpoint URL, which I am accessing through the application server securely inside network. So yes, so this is one of there are multiple ways to do it. This is a simple way which I found to satisfy this requirement. So if you have any requirement, like you want to share your ElastiCache clusters in between the VPCs that or separate accounts, what you can do is you can create one VPC endpoint service like this, and you can try to yes, get the access. So yes, if you have any doubts, just put in the comments. I would love to reply to those. And if you think like I can improve more in the recording these sessions, maybe I might can improve some areas of sharing these things. So if you need like any extra areas to cover, please put in the comment. I'm more than happy to help. So thank you very much for watching this.